Neurosurgery is a huge ordeal for patients and family. Please welcome Dr. Duncan.
Thank you, Heather, for that introduction. But today we're going to talk about something really simple, and it's back pain. Back pain is the world's leading cause of disability. A huge part of my practice is managing people with spine pain and predominantly back pain. Statistically, we are, as a profession, doctors, physical therapists, all of the other allied health industries that look after back pain are undeniably failing at managing the condition. Because my practice has really transformed significantly from when I first started managing back pain. The major reason is because of movement, understanding movement. Understanding what it means to move well is the key to eliminating musculoskeletal disability. So we're going to touch on what it means to move well today, because that is, I think, the key element that has been omitted in our attempts to manage back pain. Which, let's start off with a little video to show you what we're doing at our centre. Every doctor that I've talked to tonight has expressed that they see many patients with low back pain. It really made me start to think, what are we doing wrong here? And that's what led to the evolution of this centre here, called the Functional Movement Training Centre. Blaming genetics, blaming body weight, blaming weakness or tight muscles for back pain is just unhelpful. With anti-skill and anti-movement, we're not going to succeed at looking after back pain. The moment you send a patient to a physical therapist who lays you down on a couch, you're already failed. Every patient that comes to the Functional Movement Training Centre leaves with a new skill.
And it was so refreshing to have a surgeon that not only fixed part of the problem, but saw that the problem was bigger than that small little disc in my husband's back. And it was such an eye-opening experience for me, not just as his wife, but as a physiotherapist. Like, professionally, I just wanted to be a part of it.
Back pain and neck pain or spine pain is not a diagnosis. Movement dysfunction is the disease that causes the pain.
I've had a low back pain myself for about 15 years, on and off. Had some experience with different sorts of therapies and treatments. This sounds like it would be easy to do, and it's really encouraging, the results.
I now see what my real role is in sorting these problems out, and where the functional movement program can help correct people with long-term or even acute pain affecting their backs, whether it's neck or low lumbar or sacral back pain.
Our program is called NeuroHab for a specific reason. We are rehabilitating the nervous system. The nervous system is the steering wheel. It's the controller of movement. So that last little comment there about NeuroHab, back pain is really a central nervous system disorder, and as a neurosurgeon that made sense to me. really been treating back pain as a musculoskeletal disorder. And hopefully at the end of this lecture, it'll be a bit clearer to you as to how to control your back pain. Let's have a little show of hands. Who here has experienced back pain? Wow. Okay, so put your hands up again if you've had back pain. Okay. And who's had back pain that stopped them going to work? And who's had back pain that requires anti-inflammatories like Nurofen or Panadol? Okay. Who has back pain right now? Okay. So you can see, and that flows on to our next slide, that it's a pretty common problem, isn't it? And that really props up the data and the statistics that it costs us as taxpayers billions of dollars. Billions. It's actually referred to as $100 billion industry. The World Health Organization just February this year put out a statement that it's the world's leading cause of disability. So if you think about heart disease and diabetes and lung disease, it doesn't compare to back pain. Back pain's not very sexy. You don't die from your back pain. But more people suffer from back pain than all of those other things. The really worrying thing is that people who have an episode of back pain, like those people who showed their hands, it might settle down after a week and you go back to work and you stop taking your Nurofen, but 75% chance that it's going to come back again in 12 months' time. Whatever caused it has really not been eliminated, otherwise it wouldn't come back. There's certain things that happen to the central nervous system when you feel pain for a long time. So when we start talking about pain for weeks or months or years, we start to get some maladaptive changes in our central nervous system that make it almost impossible without really expert guidance to break out of that cycle of pain. And that's called, you may not have heard it, but it's called central sensitization. And so they might start doing what's called core strengthening exercises. Of those people who put their hand up before, who's heard of core strength exercises, trying to strengthen their core? Okay, there's lots of hands go up there. And then when you're unlucky and you fall into that group that has persisting pain, you then start to go and see your doctors. Advanced pain management. And advanced pain management is about alleviating symptoms. So things like injections into their spine, facet joint blocks, epidurals, cryotherapy. These are common injections that people have. Put your hands up if you're open to letting us know whether any of you have had an injection into your spine region for pain. I can see 4 or 5 hands up there. And did it make you feel better? Yeah, of course, because it's pain management. But remember that pain is a symptom. Okay? Pain is not a disease. And so you really haven't fixed the driving factor or the root cause of why you had pain in the first place. And that's remembering that a relapsing and remitting pattern is not an effective form of management. So having back pain today and then feeling good for a few weeks and then having another episode, that's not effective management. Restriction of your quality of life is not an effective management. Saying, I can't go to the movies anymore, I can't go for that walk with my wife because it hurts too much, I can't go and have dinner at a restaurant because I hate the chairs there, is not an effective management. And really, surgery, drugs, they should not be required to remain functional. Okay? So there's a disease that causes these symptoms, okay? And in every field of medicine, we do want to eliminate symptoms, but we also want to eliminate causation too. So imagine if you were feeling shortness of breath and your doctor just said, here, have some oxygen, and gave you an oxygen tank. You just sort of start to wonder, well, why? You know, you'd say, well, do I have asthma or have I got pneumonia? Likewise, if you had a fever and your doctor just gave you Panadol, but didn't give you the antibiotics to treat the bacterial infection that was causing the fever. Okay? That type of medicine is not going to work. And we don't do that with any other disease process in medicine. But in back pain and musculoskeletal pain, that's very, very common. Here's some Nurofen. Rest. And you'll be right, go back to work tomorrow. The disease globally affects everybody. Okay? There's all different ages here. I see patients all day of varying ages. It doesn't discriminate. It also affects people who are very athletic and also people who are bank managers and sedentary. So there's a bit of a disconnect here. And we'll often see people who have quite significant degeneration in their spine. So arthritis, disc bulges, discs that have lost their height. And they have very little back pain. And then I can see someone who's in their 20s, who has a perfectly normal MRI scan, and the radiologist is reporting it as a normal MRI. And they're completely disabled and unable to work on morphine or endo. So you can see that there's a real disconnect, and it's at first quite puzzling. So the unifying theory that ties all of these observed clinical findings together, or clinical observations together, is that the disease that's causing the pain is not so much linked to the structure of the spine, but to the function of the spine. So what is the imperative? What is the imperative for us to be pain-free and have a robust, healthy spine? What it boils down to is that we have to have a functional capacity that exceeds our functional demands. Okay? So everyone in this room has a different set of functional demands. Okay? So as long as your functional capacity exceeds that demand, you're going to be pain-free. Okay? So it doesn't mean that we have to have flawless structure in our spine, flawless discs, flawless joints, flawless muscles and tendons. And it doesn't mean that we have to have flawless movement proficiency. But those two things together, the structure and function of our spine, need to come together to develop a functional capacity that exceeds our functional demand. So how do we increase their functional capacity? This is the next concept. If we think about that car analogy again, your car travelling from A to B, what are the two requirements for that car to successfully make that journey from A to B? So we've got to have some structural elements. It's got to have some brakes, it's got to have an engine that works, it's got to have some gears that work. Okay, so these are the structural elements. This is analogous to your spine, your discs, bones and joints. Okay, so you've got to have some adequate structure. But you also have to have the driver who is controlling the vehicle that allows it to get to its destination safely. What do you think causes most car accidents? The malfunction of brakes, engines, gears, or the malfunction of the driver? Yeah, probably 99% of car accidents are driver initiated. So the analogy holds up that most times when you're moving your body, it's not the structure that's going to create the pain, it's going to be the control mechanisms. Okay? The same holds up. You say, well, how do I move well? What do you mean by movement proficiency? And this is the very, very simple formula for movement proficiency. And it is all central nervous system driven. Okay? We want hip-centric rotation with our activities of daily living. We want neutral spine maintenance with our activities of daily living. We want posterior kinetic chain activation. That might not mean too much to you at the moment. We want unloaded knee positions. We want satisfactory proficient range of motion. So So they're the five points of performance, so to speak, that are key to being good at the sport of life. Just like if you went and saw a golf coach and paid for a month's worth of golf lessons twice a week, he would give you key points of performance. The first one might be how to hold the golf club, the second one might be how to stand, the third one might be where to position your body in front of the golf ball. Okay? So they're basic principal points of performance that make you good at the golf swing. These are the same basic principal points of performance that make you good at the most important sport of all. We don't really care about golf, but we care about the sport of life, because we are all active participants in that sport, like it or not. Focusing on the muscles, which is the hardware, as opposed to the software, does not mandate proficient movement, regardless of enhanced strength. Okay? So the people who put their hand up and say, yes, I've done some core strengthening for my back pain, that sort of just means that you're a stronger person with movement dysfunction. Okay? And that's why you are just as prone to having another flare of back pain, like the statistics say, 75% in 12 months. If we said, well, let's not focus so much on getting you stronger, but let's get what you've currently got moving more proficiently, now we've actually made some steps towards eliminating the root cause disease, as opposed to ignoring the root cause disease and just making you stronger. This is examples here of people with good movement proficiency from all walks of life. A toddler who hasn't done my program. He hasn't done my program. It's built into his DNA. It's built into his DNA to execute those 5 points of performance. There we have posterior chain engagement, hip-centric rotation, neutral spine awareness, unloaded knees, adequate range of motion for his task. Okay? Here's an Olympic weightlifter. Very similar. He's maintained his movement proficiency throughout his life that looks very much like a toddler who hasn't done anything. He's just been born, and then 2 years has passed and he's now playing with his toys. It's built into our DNA to move proficiently. But as we age, our modern society actively suppresses movement proficiency. We are in an age where our modern society actively removes our ability to move like this. Okay? It's not our fault, it's our modern society's fault. We're sitting in chairs right now. You're sitting in chairs for 3 hours. That is modern society's active suppression of your movement proficiency. And I said, okay, show me how you're going to pick up that brick. And it's dysfunctional. It's dysfunctional. And it looks nothing like that. This is a knee-loaded position. It's the deactivated posterior chain, and he's just balancing on his tiptoes. Yes, he may have a fairly straight back, but that's only 1 point of performance out of the 5 that are required to be movement proficient. And so what's going to happen to this guy over the next 12 months is that if he keeps bending like this, or over the next 5 to 10 years, if he keeps moving like this, which to you guys might think, oh, that's pretty normal, but what happens is that posterior chain starts to become tighter and tighter and tighter because he's never activating it the way that he should be. And so in future, he'll now move like that. It's like weeds in your garden. If you don't attend to the weeds in your garden 1 week, then there's 2 weeds the next week, and then the next week there's 4 weeds, and then the next week there's 8 weeds, and then the next week there's 32 weeds. It's like this exponential growth of deficits that occur. And look at someone who's bending over, do that, and think, why are they moving like that? Why are they moving like that when their DNA is telling them to move like that? Right? And if we actually focus on functional movement, we can maintain it, but these guys are the world's best movers. Right? And if we pick up the groceries, we want to maintain those points of performance. Neutral spine, hip-centric rotation as opposed to lumbar-centric rotation. We want to unload the knees, activate that posterior kinetic chain, and have our range of motion to do the task of picking up the groceries. Or picking up something really heavy. Okay? or it doesn't matter whether you're old or young. If you maintain your movement proficiency, you can have a pain-free, healthy, robust spine. And what do you think her spine would look like if I put her into an MRI machine? Of course there'd be degeneration. The disc would look flat, they'd look old, they'd look black, there'd be facet arthropathy, of course they would. But you can see now how the driver, the controller, can offset the structure. Okay, so like our car analogy, just say you had a very old car that had a little bit of rust in the engine and the brakes weren't perfect and the gears were a bit clunky, but you've got this fantastic driver, you're still going to get successfully from A to B because the really good function offsets the average core structure, and that's the interrelationship between structure and function. Okay. Too often we focus on the structure. Let's go get a disc replacement, let's go get a fusion, let's go get core strengthening, let's go get an injection into that facet joint. They are structure-based approaches, and no one said, hey, let's fix up the function. Okay. Of a fellow who had pain for 2 years, this guy here, and then there's a second clip of a girl who had pain for 6 months, and she'd done 6 months of physiotherapy, all structural based. This guy had done 2 years of physical therapy, all structural based, and then this is him as he progressed through functional therapy. So I'm just demonstrating to him how I want him to move. This is lesson 1, okay? As you can see, still see that wasn't quite perfect. This is sort of the next week, and he's getting more proficient. Hip-centric rotation, neutral spine, posterior chain activation, range of motion a little bit before. But look at the difference in his movement. Okay, this is our second lady, our second patient, just captured. 6 months of physiotherapy. 6 months. She said, I'm getting worse, it's getting worse. Every day that goes by, I'm getting worse. That's how, I just said, sit down in the chair. Show me yourself sitting down in the chair. And so I talked to her physiotherapist, and they said, yeah, we're giving you lots of deep tissue release, we're strengthening your core, she probably needs some injections, all of the usual rubbish. And we started doing some movement therapy. This is her like on week 2. And it's hard work delivering movement therapy because you have to care, you have to be passionate, you have to be skilled. It's a very bad economic business model. Okay? It doesn't make you any money. But that's what our patients look like after 8 weeks of movement therapy. Here's a lady that really shocked me. I felt, okay, you've got pretty significant structural problems here. This is like a car with 4 flat tyres. Okay? No matter how good you are as a driver, you're still going to have difficulty getting from A to B. And I thought, I think I should just take this lady to surgery. And she came to me for a second opinion. She's already had a couple of opinions from surgeons saying that she needed to have a fusion of that disc there because it looked really bad and she had a lot of back pain. And she said, is there anything else I can do? And I obviously talked to her about functional movement therapy. And this. Stay nice and tall, Carol. Nice and tall, keep the back straight. Pretend you got the broomstick behind your back still. That's good, Carol. Very nice position. Fantastic, Carol. Really good. So, she was pain-free after 8 weeks, and for about 10 years prior to that, she'd suffered chronic pain. And it just really is profound how powerful it can be when you control the body correctly to eliminate the significance of even quite alarming breakdown of the structure. Okay? That structure-function interrelationship is massive. My role as a surgeon is not to fix back pain. Okay? I don't fix back pain. My surgery doesn't fix back pain. Any spinal surgeon that says, yep, we're fixing back pain today, is completely and utterly kidding themselves. So I'm in surgery 2 days a week, operating on people's spines. Like, why? I just showed you some patients that I just sort of put forward to you that I didn't need to operate on people. Unfortunately, sometimes patients do come to me too late. Okay, and I then are faced with patients who I refer to as having movement obstructing barriers, MOBs. Okay? I am an MOB surgeon. I want to eliminate structural movement obstructing barriers, because then the patient has the potential to relearn movement proficiency. So if I don't remove severe stenosis, or if I don't remove a disc prolapse that's pushing on a nerve, that patient will never be able to participate in NeuroHab. They'll never be able to participate in functional movement training, so they'll never get out of their condition. If I perform surgery that allows them to now participate in the program, then I've eliminated that movement obstructing barrier, and they can then move forward to cure their back pain with the movement training. It's the movement training that cures their back pain.